Hello and welcome to the TES Secondary Maths Resource of the Week number 42 with me, Craig Barton. Now, it's that time of the year where my Year 11s have gone and my Year 13s have gone, and a lot of people who aren't teachers think this is the time that we're all kicking back, having cups of tea and doing absolutely nothing, waiting for our lovely 6-week holiday. But as we all know, that is a load of rubbish. And this particular year, myself and two other colleagues have been set the task of rewriting our Year 9 to 11 schemes of work in the face of the new maths curriculum and the recently announced GCSE draft specifications from the exam boards. And seeing as I'm going to be doing this over the next few weeks, and seeing as I'm going to be using a lot of the wonderful resources that have been uploaded to the TES to help support me do this, I thought it'd be useful for the next few resources of the week to look at some of those resources in particular that I'm using. Now, we're going to start with this one, and it's called Differentiated Maths Challenges, and it's been uploaded by one of my all-time favourite uploaders, Mark Greenaway, and his website, Suffolk Maths, is absolutely essential reading for any maths teacher. And the reason I've chosen this one is because when I'm creating this new scheme of learning, what I want within each topic area is I want some rich activities and kind of prompts and stimulation ideas for the teachers to use with students. And these just seem like a really lovely, simple way to start building that feature in there. So what are they? Well, they are 10 PDF files, and each one covers a set area of the maths curriculum. So we've got fractions, equations, percentages, and so on. And probably the best way to get to grips with these is to have a look at them. So let's crack open fractions challenges. And what these are, and there's 16 in the particular fractions one, is there are a series of kind of visual prompts and stimuli for discussion. So what fraction is shaded of each of those, and then following on from that, shading each rectangle with that, put the fractions in order of size, right down to something really, really lovely down here that I spotted, which was, let's have a look, there it is there. Put these fractions on a graph like that, what do you notice? Absolutely lovely little mini investigation that leads to. And also there's a little classic at the bottom there. The sum of two fractions equals their product, and that's 15 ones that cover fractions, and then you'll see there's a similar one here covering sequences, and it starts off with fairly standard, write your next term of the sequence, then it gets into missing numbers, then we start linking sequences with patterns, which I'm always a massive fan of. I love that one. Classic sequence there for the kids to investigate. Then we start to bring in a bit of algebra, right down to something fairly complex where we're getting into that kind of thing, and then we're getting into a little inquiry there. And there's loads of these, and I started thinking, what's the best way to use these? And what I'm going to encourage our teachers to do is to do one of two things. Firstly, say for example they're teaching a lesson on sequences. They might want to bang one of these up at the end of a lesson, or maybe the start of a next lesson, just to get students discussing things and looking at things in a slightly different way. And perhaps they're going to take 2 or 3 minutes, or perhaps some of them may spin over and take 10 or 15 minutes. And that will be a lovely way of doing them, just as traditional starter or plenary activities. But then I'm going to encourage teachers to do something else with these. I think if we can set aside time at the end of, say, for example, teaching a topic unit on sequences, if we can set aside a lesson, then I'd like to print out maybe 5 or 6 of these sheets, get the kids in groups of 4, get one of these sheets on each table, and give the kids 5 minutes to take on each challenge, and then they've got to move around to the next table. And then at the end of that, we'll have a little discussion about each of the challenges. I'm going to get the kids to make their argument about which one they found the easiest, which one they found the hardest. And then perhaps in the last 5-10 minutes of the lesson, or maybe for homework, set the kids their challenge of coming up with their own challenge themselves on that particular area that we've been studying. And we can have a look at that next lesson. And I think that's just going to be an absolutely lovely way of rounding off a topic. And it'll be good for me as a bit of a diagnostic to see what the kids know and what they don't know, which challenge they found the most difficult, which challenge they found the most straightforward. But also it promotes class discussion, it gets kids working together, it's a fast, pacey lesson, and then I love the idea of getting them to produce their own task, their own challenge at the end, just to really push them on a bit further. So an absolutely lovely, varied series of differentiated challenges here. They tend to go from kind of easier to harder as you go through the challenges. I like the look of that one. I think that's off my Diagnostic Questions website, so I'm always a fan of seeing that pop in there. And then as you get towards the end, we're getting into the real kind of investigative ones that really push the students on. Some lovely one from Enrich there. So yeah, there you go. So it's been absolutely perfect for me. They're going straight into our new scheme of learning. But hopefully they'll be useful to anybody dropping in as starters plenaries or as kind of the group work activity that I've talked about. Incidentally, I'm going to be, just in case any of you are interested, I'm going to be blogging about my experiences creating this scheme of learning, and specifically looking at all the resources from TES Maths that I use whilst I'm creating these on my maths blog. So if you just either go to my website, mrbartonmaths.com, you'll see a link to it there, or if you just Google Mr. Barton Maths blog, you'll see it there. And you can keep track on all the different kind of ideas I'm having for creating this scheme and all the problems we encounter along the way. Anyway, hope that was useful, and I will be back with a fresh resource of the week next week, and I hope you do get to enjoy a little bit of a relax now that exams are all over. Take care, and bye for now.